So the first time I was exposed to the healing power of God was a time when I was at work. I mean, I was going to church by then, but I used to think of God as this angry policeman in the sky, just this all-knowing being that was ready to strike you down the moment you did something wrong. And so it really shocked me when I discovered how supernatural our God is. And how I found that out was that I was actually in my office one day, and there was a patient in front of me with an issue on the sole of her foot. And the thing is, we had done everything that was humanly possible to get rid of it, short of using a blowtorch or a chainsaw to try to get it off. And this lady, her feet were very hard because she was prone to walking barefooted. And so the lesion was also hard and very deeply embedded. And so no surgical blade could cut it, And so while she was lying in front of me with her face down, I remember stretching my hands out and saying, God, just under my breath. I didn't even speak the words out loud. I said, God, I really need your help. I need you to use my hands and heal this lady's foot. And literally, I forgot about it. I was just waiting for a brilliant idea, some kind of bright, some leading as to what I should do. What happened next came right out of the blue, and it was that my hands started getting hot. And so, being a scientific, medical-minded person, I was thinking, well, I must be allergic to something, so let me just think back to my lunch menu, because I'm going to need to avoid certain things that I had today. So I started thinking about what did I drink with my lunch, what did I eat, and then a even stranger thing happened. My hands are still outstretched at this point over the lady's foot. And I noticed that there was this orange glow between my hands and her feet. So I thought, okay, this is odd, but there must be a scientific explanation for that. And so I started to look around the room to see if there was anywhere that there was maybe some kind of light bouncing, or maybe it was a reflection, or I was trying to figure out what could be causing this. And then out of the blue, the lady whose feet were stretched out underneath my hands and underneath this orange glow began to holler and yell. She began to say, "Ow, doc, it burns!" And she began to kick her feet. So at this point now, I just moved my hands really quickly, and I was saying, I'm so sorry. If you still have the issue, please call me in a week, but we're done here, we're done. And I literally left her in there, no charge. Off I went to try to figure out what on earth was happening. Now, at this point, I had completely forgotten about the prayer until I sat by myself in a room, and I was thinking, what just happened? What on earth just happened? Am I crazy? Am I going to need to go home and tell my husband that, boy, it is just too sad, but you're going to need to get your wife assessed. You thought you married a sane woman, but I doubt it very much that she is sane, because something happened. I saw it, I felt it, something happened. And then I remembered that I had said a prayer, and the prayer was not answered in the way I thought it would be answered, but it was answered in the way I asked for it to be answered in. I asked the Lord to use my hands and heal her foot, but I really did not expect that He would use my hands in that supernatural way, because I thought that I didn't know that supernatural things were possible at that time. And so I had to totally adjust my thinking, because I had said a prayer not even out loud, which means that He could hear my thoughts. So if this God could hear my thoughts, and I needed to know who he was. And so what I did was I went on a 40-day fast where I read I read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And I can't even say that I read them. I'd have to say I more devoured them. I read like a maniac, like someone who had to know this person who was in her head. And as I did, amazing things happened, and the Lord began to show me things, to open up certain things that I just never knew were possible. I realized that I had a gift of healing. And so I started to pray for people in the office, and they started being healed miraculously, and things like that happened. And if you want to know, that was phase 1, lesson 1 of my training with God into the supernatural things of the healing power of God. And I have never ever been the same since. I came home, I told my husband, and he didn't look at me like I was crazy. He knows that I tell him the truth. And so he began to open his mind, and seeing some of the things that happened after that, I'm really glad for that. So I would like to take you on a journey with me where I share some of these supernatural things that happened, because I believe that the Lord wants to open up this area of supernatural delights in your life too. And I believe that He's going to do it. So believe with me as we go on this journey together.